Hey everyone, and welcome to my meditation drawing for today. I do meditation drawing as part of my own creative self-care. So creativity is one of my key ways of keeping in check, noticing where I am, being able to adapt and attune to what's going on around me. And I found this a really lovely way of just regulating the nervous system, calming down, finding a way of being still, and just really coming back to myself throughout the day. And so I doodle and I draw and I really enjoy it. So I want to share that with you. And today, the energy around. So when I look at self care, yes, the journey is about going inwards. But the journey is about going inwards. So then we move out into the world in a more aware way. We can enter into our relationships, into the circumstances we find ourselves in a more aware way. And we can pay attention to the subtleties and the small things that happen that actually usually are there as information for us. So I use the transits in human design and astrology as a way of doing that, because that's providing like a background theme to us. And for me, if I can connect in and tune into that, then I get to pay attention. Okay, like what's happening today? Is there a theme to the conversations that I'm in, or what I'm reading about, or what I'm noticing? And then it makes me better able to respond to what's going on. So at the moment, the sun is in gate 7, which is called the army, which is really about kind of leadership and influence. And so we're going to have a look at that today in our meditation drawing. And so my advice is to you is to get a pen or some sort of drawing. I'm going to use a marker today. I feel like a marker. Get some paper. I have some here in front of me. It doesn't have to be a notebook or anything special, just any photocopier paper you have, old newspaper, old magazine. Remember that meditation drawing isn't necessarily about producing a really nice picture. Meditation drawing is about connecting. It's about connecting within. And I use the creative process as a way of connecting inside of myself. And as I mentioned earlier, that allows me then to go out into the world and form connections with other people, form connections with the environment that I'm in or the spaces that I'm in. So that's going to be our theme. So grab your art materials. If you want water, grab, I have nice hot tea here. I went to pick some rosemary from the garden because it's that type of year. And settle in, find yourself comfortable. So grab a cushion, grab a blankie, grab whatever you need. But I want you to sit back in the chair and I want you to ground down into the chair. And so we'll do a short meditation for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go into a creative drawing exercise. You don't need to know how to be able to draw. I will be doing a slow, repetitive act that brings your awareness to this theme of leadership and influence. And that's all we're doing today. There's nothing to achieve here. There's nothing to do. This is about a very much a yin state of being, sitting back, relaxing, noticing. Okay, so get comfy. So we'll start with the meditation. So I'd like you to just really take a moment or two to plant your feet on the ground. Notice the support of the earth underneath you. Really even press your feet ever so gently into the earth or the ground to recognize and realize that there is a grounded support always near you. And just breathe. And as you breathe, with the attention on the feet, the noticing of the breath, just allowing your attention to focus on the sensations. Do you have bare feet? Do you have socks? Can you feel the material? Noticing the feet. and how they're planted on the ground. And then moving up to the ankles, noticing them, and up to the calves, sitting in space. And your knees bent, just noticing them. Moving up to the thighs, probably rested on the chair. And then up to your sit bones, your bum sitting on the chair. Just again, sink in. Let your body weight just give it all to the chair. Surrender, just even for these few moments. Surrender to this life, to this living. And then moving up your back, really feeling the support of the back of the chair. Up to your shoulders, and if you'd like, just moving your shoulders ever so gently up maybe to your ears, and then relax. Just let go of any of that tension. Your shoulders, down your arms to your elbows, bent in space, to your forearms, to your hands. Maybe they're resting on your lap or on the table in front of you, just feeling the cool air or the warmth around them. Any sensations or tingling. Continue noticing the breath and coming to that belly of yours. Is there an expansion and contraction that goes with the belly? As you breathe in and out, rising to the chest, noticing the rise and fall of the chest, up to the neck, into the face. Cool or warm air on your face. The air passing in and out your nostrils or pass through your lips, just noticing your ears, the back of your neck, the back of your head, and the top of your head. Noticing yourself sitting here in space. And as you notice your aliveness and your presence, coming back to that breath. The breath in and the breath out. Perhaps just for one moment, we'll take a breath together. In your own time, taking a breath in, taking a breath out. And very slowly, very gently, without disturbing anything, take your pen or your marker or pencil into your hand and move towards your page. And today we're going to be doing a repetitive line action. And we'll be drawing one line, and then on top of it, one slightly smaller, one slightly smaller, one slightly smaller, one slightly smaller, and then repeating that again and again. So let's start. So as you can see, and we'd start anywhere in your page. This doesn't have to be a particular anything. Just really noticing the mark on the page. Just noticing the breath. Just noticing. Really slowing down and considering. So this is the mark we're going to make. And we'll do this over and over again, always starting with the longest line and always then reproducing this shorter and shorter. And they almost look like pyramids. Your pyramid might have 10 lines. Your pyramid might have 2 lines. This isn't important. It doesn't even have to be a particular size. Just really getting into a flow of thinking about lines stacked on top of each other. And as you do this, and as you begin to repeat what you're doing, just think for a moment about the line and the breath. So how connected are your line and breath at the moment? And what I'd like you to do is find some relationship between them. So taking a breath in might be one line. Taking a breath out might be the next line. Taking a breath in, taking a breath out, taking a breath in, taking a breath out, taking a breath in. And what I even notice in doing this is my first long breath is maybe a little bit quicker. And as I get further along, my breath slows down as the size of my line gets shorter. So really taking your time here. There's nothing to achieve. There's nothing to notice. You're simply repeating this act of drawing over and over again. So we've been building up to get into a certain type of pattern. With this theme of leadership, it's kind of about this relationship between the bigger line and the line as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So this is going to be our last line of this type of action. Doing the smaller line last at the end. So there's a relationship between all of these lines, the bigger and the smaller. Now, as we go on, I'd like you to reverse this. I'd like you to think about doing the smaller line first. And then gradually building the line up, over and over again. So now we're getting bigger. Just went a little bit off that one. So I'm going to tune that. So start with the smallest one now. Begin to get bigger. Really noticing the relationship between the smallest line and how it feels when you're drawing that to the biggest line. And when we're looking at leadership, we're really thinking about this relationship that we have with the other. We're really thinking about guiding others, whether that be through our advice, through our work, or anyone who's a coach or a therapist. There's always that relationship where you connect with the other. And think about the hierarchical structures in those relationships. Just noticing all of that. And remember to come back to your breath. Have you speeded up? Getting nervous about making sure your lines are okay and your length is okay? Are you thinking to yourself about the silliness of this exercise? Why am I just repeating patterns on a page? What am I doing? Just noticing all of this. And all of it being okay. And as you breathe, connecting your breath to the line. And I've been thinking about leadership lately. I've been really thinking about the leader within myself. I've been thinking about all those aspects of myself. Perhaps the smaller, quieter, more subservient parts of myself. And the bolder, more vocal elements of myself. How are these connected or related? What's the relationship? Who's the boss within you? And is it time for some areas to take control or management over other areas? Just noticing this. As we draw the lines, just ponder, consider. Remember, this is a reflective practice. And now I'm just free flowing. Some of my beginning lines are longer. Some of my beginning lines are shorter. So just moving between a more dominant, longer line and a more subservient, passive line. Just playing around with how this feels within you. The reflective practice of noticing what's happening inside you, what's happening around you. So in the last few minutes of this meditation drawing, just allowing yourself to find a way of finishing up today's exercise. Do you notice there are large parts of the page that remain untouched? Are you happy with that, or would you like to fill them? Would you like to do a few really big ones if you've kept the hierarchies really small? Or would you like to do some small, little tiny ones? Little mini conversations that exist within. Whenever you're ready, in your own time, finding a way of finishing. Maybe if there is part of the page that you'd love to fill and you can't, just noticing what it's like for things to remain unfinished, things to remain not perfect. This is an observation through creativity of our internal world and how we react to the external world. Just noticing, is there a word or a feeling that comes to mind? There's something jumping out on the page. Really thinking about relationships on this page between all the lines and shapes and sizes. And I think I'll bring this idea about such a variety of relationships in our lives and how they play out. So thank you so much for the meditation drawing for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I hold a meditation drawing workshop every week on Zoom, so you can find information about that provided below, or this link in the bio to that. It's a Tuesday evening meditation circle where we come together in community and we draw together and experience together and share together. So I hope you go back into your day with this noticing, with this awareness, and just pay attention. It's the only thing you have to do for today. Just notice and see how that impacts on some of the decisions that you're making, what you're witnessing as the day goes on. If you like this, please like it and subscribe to my channel and send on to anyone who you think could really benefit with some calm and resetting of their self-care. Take care. Bye.